Hey everybody, Raul here for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we have the extraordinary honor and pleasure of chatting with bassist, educator, vocalist, songwriter, arranger, producer, one of the most prolific and versatile bassists of our time, Mr. Nathan East. Yay!
Thank you. Wow. Woo. Thank you for that introduction. Hope I can live
Oh,
up to it.
Nathan, you are amazing. I can't believe all this stuff, all the balls you have juggling in the air. I don't know how you find the time in the day, but we are grateful for you taking time to chat with us. And before I forget, happy belated birthday. On top of that, you don't look
Thank
a
you so
day over
much.
30, man. So I tell you, whatever you're doing,
Thank
it's
you.
working for you.
Feeling pretty good. No, thanks. Music keeps you young anyway, so.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, and on that note, we've been staying in touch for quite some time now. We've talked about your basses, especially with Yamaha. I know you've got some exciting stuff going on with Laney. We'll talk about that a little bit. But more importantly, you've had the amazing, beautiful experience of being able to play with your son Noah, and not only on live venues, but you recently released an album, Father Son. And
Yes.
it is such a blessing to be able to spend that kind of quality time doing something that you love with someone that you love as well. We should all be so lucky. So tell us a little bit about this project.
Well, it's like you said, it's the biggest blessing ever and still surreal to me because you go from this person you brought into the world, and you saw them from their first moments being born, and now we're traveling the world
Mhm.
making music together. And not only that, what I'm hearing from him is like some of the most gorgeous music and substitutions and his instincts and just everything about it is just a blessing.
Nice, nice. Well, Father Son, you've got a baker's dozen, 13 tracks going on there. And it's interesting because the feel I get from it is you guys picked songs you like to play because it's kind of scattered. There's some jazz standard, there's some pop stuff. I mean, you got Beatles in there. So it's quite the
Right.
blend, but it's kind of like these are our favorite tunes and we just want to come and share them with you.
Yeah, I mean, just like plus, if you look at anybody's collection, I don't think it's just one type of music. I know mine certainly isn't.
Mhm.
And so, those tunes like Yesterday was one of the first songs that Noah was working on, from his piano play music class.
Mhm.
So I loved the arrangement that they showed him and so we picked up on that. Over the Rainbow was another one of his arrangements, and both of those songs he recorded on my solo albums. We did those as duets, and then just we've always had that like thought of wouldn't it be cool if, and so finally we just said, hey, what are our favorite songs? What do we want to go in and record? And we went in and had a great time. And now taking it live and around the world is this same thing. It's just a bundle of joy.
Nice, nice. Well, and it's really also impressive because Noah is a very accomplished pianist, but he's really got some solid chops on that B3 Hammond. That's a whole other set of keys the way that works. And I know technically they're the same keys. However, the skill set,
However,
yes, is very
yeah.
different.
Yeah, and if you're a pianist, it doesn't mean you're automatically an organist.
Exactly.
And so there's a lot of expression in that instrument, and he really, I think that was another blessing of COVID, to be here at home where he could really study the greats like Billy Preston and Jimmy Smith, Joey D, all the great guys that play this instrument, and so he was at home during that time period and just really deep into the YouTube University, and and he nailed it too. I mean, when he picks up that organ, when he jumps on there, he sounds like he knows what he's doing, which is a thrill for me because I love the instrument.
Absolutely, absolutely. And on bass, I know you're kind of alternating because I saw some upright. I'm seeing, of course, your classic Yamaha
Right.
basses there, you keeping down the low end and all that. So you've got that choice and variety as well to mix it up with what he's doing.
Yeah, it's great because the acoustic instruments so well together, the electric instruments go well together, and any combination. So that's what we've been playing with when we record and when we play. So in the living room, he'll either jump on piano and I'll hear him, and then I'll run down there and jump on the upright. And next thing we got a little duet going, or I'll hear the organ going, and then I'll pick up the electric, and it's just so much fun. We keep it going around the clock here. 4 a.m. You might hear us playing around in our living room.
Nice, nice. And you mentioned touring. I know some of what I'd seen before we were chatting, you guys were in Tokyo, and I know you've been in
Yes.
South Korea, and you definitely get
Right.
around. So how are we kind of midstream on touring? What's the situation there?
It's kind of a little bit of a perpetual thing. That was fun. It was specifically Asia, so 12 cities in China, which many that I had never been to, and it was his first time, so that was really fun. And Bangkok and Taipei. But now we're going to do some touring in the States, and then we're going to head over to Europe. We have a thing that we do in Baden-Baden, Germany every March. This year it's 12th through 14th. It's called Mr. M's Jazz Club. And we invite different artists every year. They kind enough to invite us as artists in residence. And we kind of put the shows together with our director and buddy, dear friend Mark Marshall, who coordinates. And he's been doing this since 2008. And now, this thing is has a life of its own, a 3 day sort of festival type feeling. And it's this year, Yvonne Lenz will be with us, and he, one of our favorite Brazilian artist and composer, and Claude McKnight from Take Six, and Kennedy from the Kennedy administration. So we're going to have a lot of fun this year. So that's in March. And then we'll continue on. We have some father son shows over there. And then Noah plays with the Cream of Clapton band. So whenever I'm available, they ask me to come sit in with them. So we'll be doing kind of a combination of shows in Europe, and that'll take us up to about April.
Nice, nice. And I'm sure for people that are listening to this, probably one of the best places if they want to know where you're going to be is to look at your website,
Yes,
nathaneast.com.
look, yeah, NathanEast.com, and we're putting together a Nathan and Noah East website as we speak, and it should be up and running within the next couple weeks.
Nice, nice. Because again, so
Yeah.
many times there's just a blur of so many activities. You like to kind of go, I wonder if Nathan's going to be in town anytime soon, so we can go and check him out, or with Noah. On another front, it's kind of interesting too because music in itself is such a for at least for me, and I take it from you as well, and sharing it with your son, it is such a spiritual activity in itself, but there is also the hard part, the business side, with all the traveling and the touring, and because the glamour and the glitz only lasts for what, an hour and a half. It's those rest of those hours of the day. So it's great that perhaps you're able to share your long earned wisdom with your son in this kind of environment and kind of help ease him along and maybe not learn lessons the harder way as we all unfortunately have to do sometimes.
Well, 100%, and again, it's nice to. These are roads that I've traveled for half a century now. So it's it's. But then he's tender age of 25, and it's just fun to see him, reacting for the first time of what it's like. And we're traveling to some really fun places as well. So yeah, it's good to be able to kind of pave the way and show him how some of the things are done,
Absolutely, absolutely.
where to
I
do the laundry and all the important things like that.
again, all the rest of the details in the rest of the day, and
Right.
paying attention, between, diet, taking care of
Yeah,
yourself, your clothing. I mean, those are very
absolutely.
practical things that you have to do.
Very, and there aren't a lot of options on the road of okay, what are we going to eat? Sometimes you have a really breakneck early lobby call, so like, there's nothing even open, so you have to
Mm,
kind of figure out how that's going to work, and again, all of the above: your travel, your diet, your exercise, and your spirit, keeping it all balanced.
Absolutely. Well, it is kind of almost like an athletic event that you're kind of in your when you're
Yeah,
home, you're in training, and then when you head out, you're yeah, at the activities
right.
themselves. So that is great.
Noah usually finds the gym that wherever it is, there's usually one within a mile of the hotel, or if the hotel has a nice one, and he gets in there, works out every day. So he's already into the mindset of taking care of your body and your temple, and keeping it so that it'll be around for many years to come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and as we're talking too, we should talk a little bit about sound. And that comes back to recently, you guys had a launch of the Laney Black Country Customs preamp, the Nathan East Signature preamp. And this is following a
Yes.
release of you had a signature amplifier with about a year ago.
Yes, almost a year ago, and it was
Okay.
March 30th.
Tell us
We
about that
introduced
project.
well, I met Laney a few years ago, and that was my first experience. I don't know if it was because they're in the UK and I just didn't meet the guys, but I've had relationships with a few other amp companies, and usually, a lot of people, my warehouse is full of amplifiers that people have sent me, and, I can't really try them all out, but Laney was kind enough to come by when we were over in the UK, and we were in Cranley in Guildford, and they were kind enough to come by and set up in a nearby location all their amps and speakers and configurations. And I had a break and went over and plugged into it, and just instantly when I plugged in, I just fell in love with the amps and the sound, and it was so musical, and it was really everything that I had been looking for. So we instantly developed a partnership, but then they were saying, "Well, what do you see that you like, or what would you improve?" And we got together and designed the Nathan East DB 1000 watt amp head, which has two inputs, two outputs, goes to the front of house guy. He gets one for the upright, one for the electric. They're balanced, and so just couldn't have been worked out better. And then they realized the need for even a like the preamp situation, where a lot of guys are just putting something in their bag and going to the gig. And so based on that amp, we came up with the DB East Pre,
Hmm.
and which was just introduced at the NAMM show a few days ago, and really great response. I plugged and played through it at the show, and it's everything that I could wish for, and it goes in the bag. Plug the headphones into it, auxiliary in. I can practice. I can program sounds in there through the USB-C cable, and it connects to an app that you can open on your computer and customize your amp sounds. I mean, really pretty much everything I could wish for. Again, two inputs and one direct out. So always going to have my sound now wherever I go, which is very comforting.
Nice. Well, and the rest of us maybe should be so lucky as if we could sound a little like you. That would be a
Oh,
great thing.
you're too kind. Too kind. Well, it's got customizable inputs, and there's a lot of technology. I mean, I was able to go to the factory and watch them, the whole team, putting these together,
Mhm.
and a lot of really great and practical, useful technology. And I'm like a sound guy. I've always been involved with pickup selection and putting pickups in and out of my basses and amplifiers until you do. And even when I play now, you'll see me adjusting just to get the right sound. It might be need a little more point or a little more warmth. So all of these are sounds that I look for when I'm recording and playing live. So for now, I couldn't be happier to have a piece of gear now that will go with me everywhere to ensure that I can feed the engineer my particular sound.
Nice. Well, and I do find that, especially I think in the industry, a lot of what their focus is maybe more on the metal side. You see things
Right.
with a lot of distortion, a thing with stranger sounds coming out of your bass. And your sound is so much cleaner. And we get to hear what we want is your bass. That's without any of
Yeah.
the other stuff.
I mean, and also these have the option for pre and post EQ. So, if engineer wants, he just says, I just want your bass, nothing else. You can do whatever you want to, and so we have that option. But the bottom line is yes, whenever we're relying on backline and everything, you don't really know what you're going to get.
Exactly.
So, and my rig is simple nowadays, and it usually involves the upright bass, either the big acoustic one with a pickup on it, or the Yamaha silent bass that we've been using, the SLB 200, 300. And so now I have that in one channel. I have my electric bass in the other channel, which is a signature bass. So everything is now being more geared toward my sound, which it feels good after half a century in this business now to have a signature sound and setup that works absolutely perfect for me,
Absolutely. Well,
and hopefully for other players.
indeed, indeed, especially if they're addressing again with you having such a versatile gamma of music, it can apply itself for many kinds of players, whether you're going to be a jazz player, whether maybe it's not your massive death metal ones, but still there's a lot of good music in there that you could, play with this. And so that's very exciting. Also, I want to mention
Yeah.
because I know people keep hearing the word Yamaha, and
Okay.
you're nothing if not consistent, Nathan. You've been with them for over 40 years now. I mean, this is an
This is my
incredible
45th
relationship.
year.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that means yeah, yeah, and my wife and I 30 are in our 30th year of marriage. We've known each other the 50. So
Wow.
it's it's amazing. When you have a good thing, you stay with it.
Indeed.
Or you stay with the person, you stay with the gear, you stay with that way of life because if it works, I tend to just be very loyal to that.
Totally, totally. Well, and I'd be remiss as well because again, in the versatility, I always have to mention, you still play with other groups. You've got foreplay, and you're whether you're out with Clapton, whether I mean the list is just too immense. What other of those kind of projects do you have in the works?
Yeah, well, loving music, it's one of those things where it's just I love so many different artists, and I'm just such a lover of music, and we're gonna be heading out with Eric Clapton again later on this year. All the dates are on his website, and it's always a joy. I mean, now it's been over 40 years with Eric
Yeah.
now that we first started working together in the early 80s. And so we'll be touring in Europe, we'll be over in the UK, and probably travel back through the States again later in the year. And so again, between that and these the band with Noah
Mhm.
and and hanging with my family, it's a pretty beautiful life.
Indeed, indeed. Well,
Yeah.
Nathan, we definitely appreciate you taking time out of such a busy schedule to share the details of father son, to share about the great news from Laney, whether it's a full amplifier or a preamp, all the exciting stuff that's going on. And of course, we wish you much continued success. Keep going strong
Thank you.
because I love hearing you play, man. That's just one of the best.
Well, thank you so much. I love playing, and again, I feel very fortunate and blessed. There's not a day I don't wake up that I just am not in 100% gratitude on what an incredible life I've been blessed with. And hopefully, we'll meet a lot of our friends out there and be able to see you out there on the road later this year.
Absolutely. Well, folks, you've seen him here on Bass Musician Magazine, Mr. Nathan East.
Thank you so much.